My name is Salim Adatia. I'm Chief Executive of GLI Test Labs Canada, located in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. I started with a company called TST, Technical Systems Testing, in January of 2001. It was an organization of a similar nature as GLI. I was hired by the Australian operations. And after taking on various roles within TST, I became Chief Executive of TST around 2008. And then GLI acquired the assets of TST's North American, Asian, and European entities in 2010. So I've been in my position approximately 13 years, coming on 14 years. I was looking for a challenge, position that would challenge me not only in the area of marketing, but also in the area of technical expertise in regulation, and something that would allow me to travel. And the gaming industry was really a wonderful opportunity to do that, to travel and work with different operators, software suppliers, and regulators around the world. GLI offers independent testing and certification. We also offer a full range of professional services, which cover off things such as governance, risk and compliance, audit, enterprise-level security auditing, anything in the land-based gaming industry that you would find in your bricks and mortar venues, plus anything on an interactive side. So anything you'd find through a desktop, PC, or a laptop, mobile or wireless technology, plus interactive television-based products, those types of things. We test the full gamut, the full range of any gaming, basically, product. And we also try and offer, be a trusted advisor for regulators, software suppliers, and operators around the world, and provide that really high level of consultancy and information gathering for them. So we are currently operating in every regulated market around the globe. We're very privileged in that sense to be globally accepted and recognized. So in any jurisdiction where there is regulated-based gaming, we will operate in. We are accredited by, or we seek accreditation in, and then we offer testing services, certification services. We're also the only global entity of its kind to hold international accreditations with the ISO body, IEC, including 17025, 17020, and Guide 65. We focus mainly in different things that we can really call ourselves different from our competitors. And those would be things like offering world-class customer service, providing that level of service that is commensurate with what regulators expect and what software suppliers need, what operators need, such as lotteries or anybody who's operating online. We also seek to deliver a faster turnaround time for our testing services and our advisory services, but with no degradation in quality. And that's very important because you don't want to sacrifice one for the other. So those are the types of things we try and use as our hallmark for how GLI is being successful and where we've been able to increase our market share. The other things we try and focus on is being on the ground and being at a regulator's or an operator's service before a jurisdiction starts operating. So having our boots on the ground, helping them understand and navigate those landscapes, and really being a resource to them, as I mentioned, a trusted advisor, someone who they can go to at any point in time. And if we don't know the answer, we're at least going to put them in touch with the people that in our network that do have the answer. But 9 times out of 10, we have the answer. So. There's obviously iGaming is a huge increasing trend. It's something that's growing, has been growing for some time. We've been involved since iGaming's infancy, but not so much domestically. We haven't had the opportunity here as much until it really took off, in the U.S. and in Canada. So we have had the opportunity in Canada. We've had many firsts. We've certified the first sites to go live, first in Europe with Alderney and the Isle of Man and Italy and Spain and those types of jurisdictions. First Cagayan in the Philippines. We brought it overseas to Canada with British Columbia Lottery Corporation and Manitoba and in Quebec as well with Lotto Quebec and Lotteries and Gaming Authority of Manitoba. And so we were very, very fortunate to have many firsts Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries went online with the same platform that we had certified for BC, and we were able to leverage all of that familiarity and testing. So we have a lot of areas that we are very fortunate to be involved in, but the challenges we see as also as opportunities. So things such as mobile-based gaming, wireless. We have technology that is having a higher level of penetration, and with that, it gives a lot of opportunities. It's not lost upon the lab that we have to stay one step ahead with an understanding that technology to be that trusted advisor. Things like social-based gaming, freemium models, those are really providing challenges to everyone, to regulators, software suppliers, to the labs, but it's also bringing with it wonderful opportunities, and that's something that's not lost upon us. So we're working on putting together a set of guidelines at the moment with GLI 32, which we'll be putting out for industry comment in short order to make sure that we're able to deliver a set of guidelines in response to industry's request for a measuring stick, if you will, to test social-based gaming products. I think we'll probably continue to see increase of penetration of iGaming in the U.S. With other jurisdictions that are more willing to adopt iGaming, or at least seriously look at it with the great steps that Nevada and Delaware and New Jersey have made. I think we'll probably continue to see an increase in iGaming amongst tribal bodies and tribal reservations and whatnot. I think we'll continue to see other lotteries in Canada seriously look at the opportunities for them with iGaming, and look at what BC and Manitoba, Atlantic Lotteries in Quebec have done. As we know, Ontario will also shortly be going online. So I think once other jurisdictions and other states or provinces see that the road is far more traveled, they'll probably have an opportunity to look at those and say, hey, let's also take the step in this direction. The challenges, I think, would definitely are multifold. So we have a challenge with the consumers, making them feel comfortable with adoption and the technology. It has been there for quite some time. It is robust, making sure that we are able to give regulators and operators a level of assurance, we as a lab, that it's operating in a manner that's fair and secure and auditable. There's legal hurdles, of course, in some jurisdictions where it's less adopted, or less likely to become adopted, at least in the short term. So I think overcoming those legal or political issues may be a challenge for some jurisdictions. Other challenges I think we'd see is really just making sure that the mix is right. So finding one of the things I've said is, in my experience, over the years when operators have gone live with iGaming, the successful ones have really taken the time to do their research and due diligence. And any partnership is, like a marriage. So, they're making sure that who they're getting to into the contract with, from a software supplier standpoint, to the payment system provider, to your geolocator, to your test lab. Everybody is, it's the right mix, and it has to be a cultural fit. It has to be obviously a regulatory fit, but it also has to make sense, and everything has to sort of connect. All the pieces need to connect to ensure that everyone's working together with a cohesive effort rather than against each other or for their own sort of potential gain. For the industry's advancement in iGaming, there could be a lot more cohesiveness in terms of communication, in terms of sitting at the same table and working towards a common effort. Don't get me wrong, there's parties and jurisdictions that do this extremely well. But there are some associations in the industry, or some organizations, or even some jurisdictions that may not have the opportunity to sit together as often as they would like, or perhaps they should. So I think that's something that really could change if everybody says, hey, let's all have a seat at the table, let's all work towards a common goal. I think that would really turn things around in certain circumstances. The sector is an exciting space. iGaming is a wonderful space to be in. There's challenges in so far as adoptability, what jurisdictions will adopt iGaming versus what jurisdictions would like to sort of hold off and see, what the trend will be, what the likelihood will be of it being successful. I think commonality amongst standards, harmonization between standards is always a challenge. That's something GLI has spent a lot of time and effort and resources on. We have GLI 19, which is our iGaming standard. It's meant to be it's the first global standard which is available to any jurisdiction that wishes to adopt iGaming. Or they could adopt those standards, the gist of the standards, and take the best of what they see fit from that standard, add their own information, put on their own logo, and call it a standard for their own jurisdiction. So harmonization of standards is something that's not lost upon GLI. It's something we try and really help with, give a measuring stick and give somewhere for people to start. As I mentioned, GLI 19, it comes to mind that obviously GLI 32 is another standard we're working on for this space. I should say it's a set of guidelines, more appropriately. It's a set of guidelines for discussing best practices with iGaming social-based products. So with the introduction of these new standards, we really try and give the industry somewhere to hang their hat on so that they're not left sort of reinventing the wheel at each time when they want to offer a new form of gaming. That's really, I think, a challenge that we're trying to assist with. GLI is very proud to be celebrating our 25th year anniversary this year. We were established in 1989, so that's a very big deal for us, something we're very proud of. Other highlights, GLI Link has been nominated, won an award for technology, one of the best new innovative technology tools this year, so that was something that we're very proud of. A couple of years ago, I was nominated from a personal perspective, one of the top 25 under 25, top 25 to watch by Global Gaming Business Magazine, which was a wonderful highlight in my own personal career. So I'm very proud for what we've been able to accomplish as an industry, as a company, and what GLI has given me the honor to really accomplish. I would say career advice for people who want to join the industry, really to do your homework, understand the landscape from a geographical perspective, understand the key players. Who are the operators, who are the software suppliers, the regulators, right down to all of the other service providers, agent identity verification, recruitment, geolocation providers, payment system providers. Knowing all of these, the different players, knowing the different landscape, knowing the difference between the regulated market and the unregulated market, or even the gray market, will be very advantageous to somebody looking to navigate their career. These are the things that I think I would tell somebody who's wanting to venture into the gaming industry. As a key person working in a test lab, have to undergo the same level of scrutiny and background investigation that people who are setting up a casino even might undergo, or sometimes even more rigorous, just because of the level of access we have to different software suppliers' source code and intellectual property. So for that reason, we sign very strict disclosures and undergo very strict background investigations that we won't participate in any form of gaming. And it's even just comes down to a perception standpoint that, as a best practice amongst test labs, that we don't participate in gaming. I have not won a significant amount of money. I'm hoping one day that, I'll hear a wonderful story about a distant relative who perhaps does, and I'll give them a warm embrace. But if it gets too close to home, I'd be worried about a regulator knocking on my door. So it's kind of the opposite, not wanting to win.